touchdowns from Sidor. And you can say he helps open up the field all you want, but opening up the field doesn't win you a Heisman Trophy. Scoring touchdowns and putting up big numbers does.
I mean, he's got over 70 catches, 900 yards, now 10 touchdowns offensively, 3 interceptions. He's got a forced fumble, 20 tackles.
Yeah. Is that Heisman worthy?
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
Okay.
Because he's doing something.
David Gilreath from the 3. 25, 30, 35, explodes midfield. A chance to return the opening kickoff for 6. He'll take it to the house. It's blocked unbelievably. Wisconsin with a chance to pounce. Touchdown Badgers. Unbelievable. Simply shocking. Stockton! Touchdown! Jonathan Taylor. Can he take it the distance? He can. Touchdown Badgers. Camp Randall lets it roar.
It's time for the best after party in the state. This is the Wisconsin College Game Day postgame show.
You heard the man say it. It's the Wisconsin College Game Day postgame show brewed by Coors Light. The Wisconsin Badgers fall to the number 1 team in the country, Oregon, 16-13. I'm joined alongside here by Brad Nortman. I want to get the phone number out right away. I want your reactions. I want to hear from everyone. Maybe we'll have some special guests throughout the program. That number is 800-990-3776. Put young Will, our intern, to work back there. This is his first time running a show all by himself, so I want to see what the kid's got. But first, let's start off with my co-host here, Brad Nortman. What's our thoughts?
Yeah, listen, the Wisconsin Badgers had an opportunity to have the biggest win in Wisconsin football program since 1981. In 1981, the Wisconsin Badgers beat number 1 Michigan, who was a juggernaut of all juggernauts. And even though the team that I was on beat Ohio State number 1 overall in 2010, we were still the 18th ranked team in the country. We were respectable. We were definitely a team that had some national acclaim. But this Badger team could have had the opportunity for a massive upset that would have been program changing, and that would have been this program in Coach Fickell's era on a new trajectory. It didn't happen. It didn't happen, and that was for a lot of reasons. First of all, I have to look squarely at the offense. The offense, everybody can see that they're operating out of dysfunction. There's no competent quarterback play. You can't run the air raid offense if you don't have a quarterback that's capable. That's number 1. When you look at this team, and Joshy, twice this team had the opportunity to go down the field on a game-winning drive to only get a field goal, just a field goal to tie it. No big deal. You're at home, so you're in the comforts of Camp Randall Stadium. And what did I say to you? I said I don't have any faith that they're going to be able to get this done. And you even said it would take a huge play, something that was sort of a fluke of sorts, to get a big chunk. Because the reality is this offense can't be executed effectively if you don't have a quarterback that you can rely on. I mean, the stats that Braden Locke put up they're just not good enough. 12 of 28, so it's way less than 50% completion percentage, 96 yards.
96 yards.
96 yards.
Yep.
I don't even know if you could try to put up less than 100 yards in an air raid offense if you wanted to. I mean, 1 for 12 on third down. That 96 yards, 43 of them, almost half, came to that long play from Vinny Anthony. So there were moments where they had a couple sustained drives, and they did that primarily from running the football. You were able to kind of wash the Oregon lineman down, Tyree Walker pick his spot, put his heel in the ground, and get upfield. But you just cannot run this offense. You can't beat the number 1 team in the country. You can't beat many teams if the offense is playing like this. I thought the defense played solid. They were feisty. They came up with, they were pretty staunch. Nothing was easy on the Oregon Ducks, and they made stops in the red zone where they needed. If you would have told me the Oregon Ducks would come away and have 16 points, I would say, let me know where I can place a bet down on that one, because I feel good about Wisconsin being able to get at least 16 points. But boy, oh boy, the offense flounders again. And as if Coach Longo's future with the program wasn't already on a scalding hot seat, it is full inferno now for Coach Longo after a performance like that.
800-990-3776. This is the Wisconsin College Game Day post-game show. The Badgers fall to Oregon 16-13. One of my takeaways initially is just I sort of feel bad for the defense. They kept the number one team in the nation to just 16 points. Brad, let me read you off some of these point totals here for Oregon. Against Maryland, 39 points. Against Michigan, 38 points. Against Illinois, 38. Against Purdue, 35. Against Ohio State, 32. Against Michigan State, 31. UCLA, 34. Oregon State, 49. Boise State, 37. And then Idaho, the first game of the year, they scored 24. You kept the number one team in the nation to 16 points, and you left so much out there.
Sure did.
So much was left out there on that. I mean, Braden Locke has to lead the nation in batted passes. Obviously, it was the reason that the game ended there towards the end. But the defense stepped up in many ways, multiple times. And when you're facing a Heisman hopeful in Dylan Gabriel, and frankly, a lot of talent, all top to bottom on this roster, you kept this team in check. They had 218 yards passing. Gabriel had 0 touchdowns and an interception. Jordan James, 25 rushes for 121 yards. All in all, you look at this and you kind of break down this game. There's no reason the Badgers shouldn't have won the game. Obviously, they had the chance to, and I just tweeted this question out. Does Luke Fickell and crew get any credit for taking it that close to losing by 3 points to the number one team in the nation? Is there any? We all hate it. The victory that's not a victory, and trying to take the positives out of it. But the result of the game is 20 points better than I expected in terms of differential. Well,
I thought the same thing. Listen, I didn't think this was going to be close.
Not a prayer.
The way this team came out and performed against Iowa, I thought, shoot, if that's how Iowa went, Oregon is just going to steamroll you. That's not what happened at all. So the conversation of a moral victory, does it get any credit? It takes extreme circumstances for me to say, you know what? I think that the needle moved in the positive direction, even in the face of a loss. I can't say that for the Wisconsin team in general, for this program in general. I respect the way they played. The defense took a step forward.
Yeah.
I can respect the
Big
defense.
step.
Now, one of the reasons why last year the defense was so hard to watch was because we were used to Jimmy Leonard. That's number one. I mean, for 10 years, the Wisconsin had a defense that was top 5 in the country, right? So that was hard to see the defense take a little bit of a step back. It seemed like Coach Tressel's defense was a little bit softer than how Coach Leonard allowed his defense to play. And I was like, man, we made the wrong decision there too. This season, though, this defense has taken a step forward. They have answered the call. They have been heavy-handed hitters. Nothing has been easy. I felt like from start to finish that the defense, whether it be the secondary being just tight on receivers, the D line getting pressure, making Gabriel uncomfortable, that was happening. The only criticism I can give the defense is just not getting it done in critical moments. Right. We look at that 4th and 9. We look at that drive to be able to have Oregon go up, to score the touchdown to go from 13-6 Wisconsin to 13-13, and obviously they end up getting that field goal. But this is the number one team in the country with a Heisman candidate, and you held them to 16 points. I feel like the Wisconsin defense took a step forward.
Yeah.
I feel like Coach Tressel solidified his safety and his future for the Wisconsin Badgers. And maybe, just maybe, the defensive-minded Luke Fickell is starting to put his imprint, his thumbprint on this team. I see it a little bit on defense. But what offsets my hope on the defense is offsetted by just how tragic this offense is. It really is tragic. I mean, so much hope went into this air raid offense. It makes me wonder, can the Wisconsin Badgers ever adopt successfully this kind of offense? Because you need dudes for it. You need a quarterback.
Yep.
You need playmaking dudes. You need a certain kind of lineman. And the jury's still out, and it doesn't seem like any progress has been made over the last year and a half.
The one thing I do want to say is Luke Fickell got his team ready to go to play well. They are held back by their backup quarterback, who's clearly not the level you need. But there was a big spot there for this team to just quit. and let Oregon do whatever they wanted to them and just run the ball over them and be an air show. I mean, they just lost 42-10 last week. If there's ever a time to quit, it's when the number one team comes into town. So I do think there is a positive there that, when we started seeing the Braylon Allen tweets about I'll tell you how things really are, which we haven't heard any sort of follow-up on that one. And then it seemed like every former player in the program had some comments to say, be it after Alabama, be it after USC. There was something to be said by everyone, and I don't think those comments are going to come this week.
No, I don't think so either. And I look at this team and I feel better than I do when they lost to Iowa, that's for sure.
Yes.
I feel better now than I did against Alabama, USC. There's many moments that I feel better this game than I did earlier in the year. But, there was a lot of fanfare made this week on KBN, the show that I host from 2 to 5, on these very airways, talking about a level of impatience, right? We're impatient with this program. We want to start to see it on the field. And Coach Alvarez responded in the Great Day in Huddle, jokingly, talking about, who the hell cares what Ben Brust has to say. But when we had him on the program the Tuesday after, and Ben Brust asked him, what do you want to see when Wisconsin takes on Oregon? What would you tell them? What do you want to see? He said this.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd really like to see teams show up and really compete hard and get after Oregon. You're playing the number one team in the country. Instead of showing up and kind of pussyfooting your way in there and feeling your way around, get after the number one team in the country and show the fans and show the Wisconsin people that there's some fight in this outfit and that you're ready to compete and compete at the highest level.
I felt like the defense did just that. I felt like the defense played hard, they competed, and they shown that they can play with the number one team in the country that is known for offense. The offense did the exact opposite. They did, using Coach Alvarez terms, pussyfooted around, tried to feel it out, had no sort of momentum or energy going. And I get it. This is a good team, and the Oregon defense is full of guys. But this isn't a top 5 offense in the country, right? This is a team that it's a really good defense, but not an elite defense. So the defense did that. The defense rose to the occasion. The offense just did the opposite. So my internal optimism for the defense is offset by my frustration with the offense, giving me a net neutral today.
800-990-3776. This is Wisconsin College Game Day. I'm Josh Dimaggio alongside Brad Nortman. We are recapping the Badgers' 16-13 loss to the number one Oregon Ducks. Brad, we've got someone from enemy lines coming. It's a friend of mine called into the show. We've got Justice in Oregon. Justice Wcgd. He is a writer for Acme Packing Company. He is a Packers fan, but he also lives in Oregon and roots for his Ducks. Justice, how are we feeling today?
How we doing, fellas? I just watched Oregon sneak away with a win, and maybe one of the worst games that they played in the past 2 seasons. I just wanted to do a mental health check, making sure everyone's okay.
Yeah, that's kind of where we're at right now. Brad and I have done this game for various losses. I don't think we've done the postgame show for a win yet this year.
I don't think we have. It's not a good sign, Josh.
All things considered, this is the best mental state I think we could all be in. But the Badgers gave your Ducks a run. What did you think, and sort of what happened from an Oregon's fan's perspective? Like, we were talking about how many points you guys have been scoring throughout the course of the season, and you managed 16 against a team that just gave up 42 to Iowa.
Yeah. I will say, they must have had 350 yards on offense in this game. They just played pretty poorly. Generally, overall, Dylan Gabriel was really inconsistent. This is probably his most inconsistent game this season. A lot of bad balls that a lot of Wisconsin DBs were able to get their hands on at different points. And then, the red zone stuff wasn't great. Don't know if I agree with the call of putting the ball in your punter's hands when the game is on the line there at the end. But
punters deserve respect.
Brad, former punter here.
I don't know about that much respect. that much respect? I don't know about that much respect.
That's a lot of respect.
Would you put that much respect in your own hands, Brad?
Oh, hell yeah, Josh. You give me the ball. I'm a playmaker, baby. Let me ask you. Let me ask you. So we obviously live in Wisconsin. I'm a Badger fan and an alumni. Maybe sometimes we can't see the forest for the trees. You live in Oregon. You're a Ducks fan. So you're in the Big Ten. When you think of the Wisconsin Badgers, what do you think of? Like this team, like not in the past, like this
historically
version.
Or right now. Right?
This one, the one you just watched.
Okay,
like an identity kind of standpoint.
Historically, it's run the ball, right? And that's the problem with this game. It's like, this isn't the same team that we played in Rose Bowls against and stuff like that. This Wisconsin team, I think their defense played very well. It was obvious that the passing game was struggling. I know you guys got a backup quarterback in the game and all that stuff, but if you're going to run the air raid, you got to have multiple ones of those guys, right? Because you can't lose these games where you only allow 16 points. I mean, I'm looking at the box score right now. 1 of 12 on third down. Yeah. I know some of those were runs, but you guys had some success in the running game. I mean, that fourth down pass was brutal. The one that just innocently falls to the turf. Didn't even give him a chance. Just a kick in the nuts, right?
Beautifully said.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest takeaway for me. And I tweeted out, I was like, why are you guys running the air raid without quarterbacks? And Wisconsin fans jumping in my mentions saying, we've been asking this question for a year and a half. But, I mean, that was tough to watch. You guys dropped – I don't know how many times you got dropped back because I don't have the sack numbers, but 28 pass attempts. You guys had one guy who caught the ball for more than 14 yards the entire game.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, the thing with the quarterback is obviously Braden Lockett's a backup. It is what it is. I don't know how much things would be better with Tyler Van Dyke. I mean, we watched Tyler Van Dyke be below average for a long time there in Miami, a team I love to hate watch and root for to lose. So I don't know if things really improved for them a whole lot there, but I was impressed with with Wisconsin's defense. Do you think that was like Gabriel's worst game? I haven't watched a ton of Dylan Gabriel. He did seem sharp at times, but at other times he seemed kind of like an average quarterback. Not a guy you'd expect to be a finalist for the Heisman, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, that was his worst game for sure, just in terms of consistency and stuff. I know they did a bunch of bozo things early on in the season in that opener against Idaho, but, he was still able to put up like 400 passing yards against Idaho, for example. This game was bad. I cannot believe they are starting a Heisman campaign for this player. I understand the numbers and all that stuff. I'm also the same guy who's like, there's no way Bo Nix is going to go in the first round. No NFL team is going to touch this guy. All he does is check down the ball. I mean, and he ends up going 12th or whatever the hell it was.
Even back to Herbert, I remember watching him going. Aside for the Rose Bowl game against the Badgers, it felt like he had no chance to do that, and then he ran all over them. It's been an interesting history there for the quarterbacks that have come through Oregon. We'd be remiss if we didn't ask before we let you go. Where are your vibes at for a little Packers Bears? This is a college football program here, but you from Acme Packing Company, I know you love to hate the Bears and dance on their graves. It's been an interesting week from the Packers side of all this.
I think they've dug their own grave.
Yeah.
Over the past couple of weeks, right? I mean, when rumors are coming out that Tyson Bagent's dad is leaking to the media that veterans want his son to start at quarterback instead of Caleb Williams, right? Uh-huh. And you fire an offensive coordinator and all this stuff. Not great vibes going into this one for the Bears, at least. I mean, I'm expecting a full-blown funeral, and I think if it's anything less than that, especially coming out of the bye for Green Bay, it'll be a disappointment for Packers fans who are looking for a little bit of consistency, right? The issue isn't that the team isn't winning games. I mean, they have 6 wins under their belt already. They're on pace to be a playoff team, all that stuff. They'd probably have to lose, both to Minnesota and Detroit, and then also the Niners game and the Seahawks game. The Seahawks aren't going exactly, according to plan right now either, to not make the postseason. So I think Packers fans right now are just looking for a little bit of consistency. I think it's been hard to look at any sort of 2-game stretch for the Packers this year and be like, this is a team that can, win a couple games in the playoffs. That's what we've been shown the past couple weeks, right? And I think they want that to starting the Chicago game. So I think that's what the expectations are.
Justice, before we let you go, if this Oregon Ducks team makes it to a national championship, can we claim you as a Big Ten team yet? I know you're there, but you're still new. You're still brand new. Are you okay if we jump on the bandwagon for a little 12-team playoff? Because I'd feel better rooting for an Oregon than I would at Ohio State, I got to be honest.
Hey, I've had Big Ten country in my Twitter handle ever since the announcement. So we're ready whenever you guys are. Just wanted to say one last thing on the way out. That was absolutely not a chop block call, and you guys should be pissed about that.
Yeah, it was rough. That was a bad, heartbreaking call.
All right, thanks, Justice. Have a good one.
Thanks,
and we'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure.
Yep, see you guys in the playoffs, I can only assume.
All righty, that'll do it for us this first segment here. I got a lot of questions. A lot of things happened. It feels like we've only scratched the surface. We even heard from Barry already in this first segment, but there's a lot more to talk about. I got an interesting question I want Brad to give an answer to. I think we could have some fun with it, but this is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light. When you need to refresh on game day, choose a beer that's as cold as the Rockies. Cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. When the mountains are blue, you know what to do, and that's crush a Coors Light. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. We will get back to you. I see a Hunter. Oh, I know who Hunter is. We'll get back to you guys and everyone out there listening. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Next, this is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, presented by Coors Light.
Keep the elements out of your home with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
We had howling wind coming through. The rooms were freezing. We were very apprehensive about changing them because we were worried about losing the charm of the home. We went with Pella because we knew that they had an amazing reputation. We knew that they were going to have the windows that would look like they'd been there forever, but with all the functionality that a window should have.
Order today and get no interest and no payments for 12 months. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we offer a wide range of beautiful wood designs for installation within your unique home. Because wood is a natural material, it can be painted, stained, or left natural to complement your unique home decor. Experience nearly endless possibilities from Pella, featuring maximum design flexibility with dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more. Order today and get no interest and no payments for 12 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 11/30/2024.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a generator from Adams, Wisconsin's #1 rated Generac dealer. Adams provides sales, installation, maintenance, and 24/7 service from all locations. Learn why Adams is your best choice in providing power peace of mind. Visit adamspower.com today.
Winter weather is on the way, and that means salt, snow, and grime on your car. ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman here. Now is the time to protect your vehicle with a premium wash at Tsunami Express Car Wash. State-of-the-art technology, powerful free vacuums, and unlimited wash memberships. Keep your car looking spotless all season long. Tsunami Express has 5 convenient locations all across greater Milwaukee, making it easy to give your ride the care it deserves. Sign up for a membership at TsunamiExpress.com and get your first wash free. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice double gold medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at Tito'sVodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids. Mark Tauscher here, encouraging you to join in on the fun with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. PrizePicks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks keeps your lineup live. PrizePicks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when your picks hit, you get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. And you can now win up to 100 times your money on PrizePicks with as little as 4 correct picks. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. Run your game.
Hey, this is Jen Latta. You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Now fine, but you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down, hey, you gotta keep your head up, oh.
Before we get to our friend Hunter Vaughn, who I'm gonna be honest with you, Brad, I'm glad I don't live in Hunter's brain. It is all over the place. It is as negative a fandom as I've ever experienced, and I just can't live that way. But the question I want to ask is, and it's an interesting one, what mediocre Wisconsin quarterback gets the Badgers a win tonight? What quarterback throughout their history, is it Stocco, Tolzien, Mertz, Cone, Hornibrook, Stave? You don't need to give me an answer right now. We'll go over to Hunter. He's on the talk and text line. 800-990-3776. Call in, sound off, tell us how upset you are, how discouraged, how encouraged. Hunter, how we doing?
This hurts, guys. This one really hurt.
Well,
and I mean, to answer your question, other than Graham Mertz, it would have been Jack Cohn. Given the offense that he had and the running game they had, they would have not been held to just 3 points in the second half. And also, at that time, the offensive coordinator would have been able to call a play and actually run the play coming out of a TV timeout when you have 3 minutes to know what you want to play and know what the defense is actually going to run. But heaven forbid we actually have some sort of a plan as the Wisconsin Badgers when it comes to the offense.
Yeah, Hunter.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. The offense was just atrocious. It just seemed like there was no game plan, no adjustment, right? Because you could tell Braden Locke was out of rhythm and inaccurate. No adjustment to put him in a good situation. What about the defense, though? Because so we're in lockstep there. Lockstep, get it? So the defense, I give the defense some credit, right? Holding the Oregon Ducks to 16 points, number 1 team in the country, a Heisman finalist, seemingly. And they played hard and stingy and stout. Do you think that at least the defense took a step forward, or you're not even giving them credit?
I give the defensive players credit because they did look different. Their issue against Iowa was the fact that I felt like they just got gassed against that rushing attack. So they at least looked like they were playing much different than they had been all season. But Mike Tressel just decides at random times when you're playing a scrambling quarterback, nah, I'm not going to keep anybody watching him. I'm going to send the house, go man coverage back behind it. And, oh, look at that. He scrambles out, able to convert a 4th and 9 because, like, why not? Because that makes complete sense. Like, his play calling is just so crazy at times that even the best players in the world on defense can't make up for it, and we saw it on that play. Like, that's my frustration with him, and just why this game hurt so much was it was like the players were doing a lot of the right things outside of Braden Locke because the dude's a bum and shouldn't even be a backup. But, like, the rest of the team did what they needed to do, and it felt like the 2 coordinators didn't care to win this game. And Phil Longo is going to be the sacrificial lamb at the end of the season. I think we all know that. And now the problem is you have quarterbacks coming in who are coming to play in an air raid offense. They had a 4-star recruit who's being offered apparently like close to $10 million NIL money at other places, actually going on an official visit to Wisconsin. And he knows that Phil Longo might be getting fired. He's not coming here if he's got to deal with that. He's not going to come here if they're suddenly going to bring in a different OC. We're going to be right back to where we were at the quarterback position next year, even if we somehow get the best OC that's out there next year. And that's going to be the problem, is that the quarterback position has never been able to be figured out at this school, and this is what we're going to keep seeing. I believe in Luke Fickell and what he can do, but he needs to figure out the quarterback spot. If Braden Locke is your backup, that's a really bad spot.
Is there any part of you that thinks Fickell's inability to hire the right guys, frankly, I think you believe on both sides of the ball, should be a bigger indictment on him? We obviously think he gets another year at least with this program, but to be so ineffective at various times on both sides of the ball feels like there needs to be big wholesale changes there for both sides, right?
There does, and I only put it on Fickell if the next hires can't get it done. Like, you get a pass if the first time, you bring in a completely different offense that the school has never seen before, the state has never seen before. So you're trying to figure out how to fill in the pieces when you're going almost a complete 180 in your offensive styles. I get that it's going to take some time there, and it's just kind of the unfortunate part that it hasn't at least shown anything yet. So you're going to have to go a new direction with the OC then. If the next OC can't get it done too, then we start looking at, okay, Luke Fickell, you're the CEO of this football program. If you can't run the company, quote unquote, properly, now McIntosh has to look a different direction. If McIntosh even keeps his job then, because he took such a big swing at the football coach. Because you miss it on a football coach at any big-time university, ADs start losing their jobs too.
Well, it's interesting you say that because, it was Coach Fickell that made the decision. We are going to go in a completely different direction from what Wisconsin is known for, not just a 90-degree change, a 180-degree change. And when we had Barry Alvarez on KBN this week, he was talking about how when he first started at Wisconsin, he basically said, what's the type of player that Wisconsin can get? Okay, we can get linemen, we can get running backs. So that's what our identity is going to be. It seems like Coach Fickell, through Coach Longo, just said, we can go get anybody, particularly people that run this offense, when Wisconsin has shown no history of being able to get those guys that would be able to, basically fund and basically play in an offense like this. So my concern is Longo gets fired. Well, you have now 2 years worth of players that have been recruited for that offense. Are you going to make another wholesale change? And then you've got guys that are mismatched for the system. Are you going to do something similar so it's not that different? He has a mess on his hands, and it starts at quarterback, but it trickles down to all the other areas of the offense for personnel, because you now look around this Wisconsin Badger team and you have personnel that fits an air raid, or at least close to it. So if you want to go further away from that, there's just going to be more transition to try to get that done.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's where I wonder if the next hire, they try to do something where it's almost like the way that a lot of the more modern teams run something that's kind of like a pro style, if we're going to start really getting X's and O's with it. So you're still going a lot of 4 wide receiver sets, but then you're running the ball. You've got those big offensive linemen. You can still do those things, but you just kind of, maybe instead of 180, you push that to 110 degrees or something. You just sort of swing a little bit back further towards what Wisconsin had been known for, and you try and go that direction then. But the next 4 to 5 months are going to define Luke Fickell, because if he doesn't get it figured out, if he decides to make a coaching change or not for the coordinators, and he misses on those guys, then he's going to be done. If he hits home runs with them and they work out perfectly fine, and then football at Wisconsin starts going back in the right direction and everything's humming along, dude's going to get a statue right there along with Pat Richter and Barry Alvarez outside of Camp Randall.
Oh, wow. That's powerful, Hunter. Well, it sounds like you're a Fickell guy, so I got to ask. If Longo, regardless of how the next 2 games go, if Longo remains on the staff next year as OC, Is that an unforgivable offense for Luke Fickell? Will that change you from Team Fickell to Team I don't trust this man's judgment?
It will change where I think his leash needs to be at. Right now, I feel like Luke Fickell has another 2 years, because then you get a full 4 years of recruiting, trying to build whatever it is he wants to build at Wisconsin. And if he sticks with Longo, and you're like, yep, after these first 2 years, I've seen what I need to see, I want to stick with this guy, you get into week 2 of the Big Ten schedule. So like 4 to 5 weeks into the season. And if things aren't going, suddenly I think we start talking about if we've got to ask Luke Fickell to leave the university. And then you got to buy him out, and then we start the whole process over again, and we're working on a random Sunday night during a Packer game because we've got to go live for breaking news. Like that's the level that I think that could get to if he sticks with Longo. So that's why I think he's got to move on and try and show McIntosh and the entire fan base and everybody, hey, I know how to hire coordinators. Because I don't care really what a head coach really is doing in college football, X's and O's wise. I care about the coordinators. I want Luke Fickell going out to fundraisers, getting that money, get the donors coming in, get as much money pouring into this program as you can, get the recruits coming in. That's his job.
Thank you, Hunter. We got another caller I want to get to here, but hey, at least your Cowboys play tomorrow.
Why you got to do that to me, man? Like, I'm already down.
I just wanted to let out.
Such a jerk.
Thanks for calling in, Hunter. You're the best.
Hunter.
Yeah, I'm fine.
800-990-3776. Was that too mean?
No.
Okay.
He's a Cowboys fan. He asked for it.
All right, let's go out to Eric in Green Bay. Eric, I see you got an interesting comparison here.
Yeah, absolutely. So, after the game, initial reaction at this point, it's not, I don't know, it's not mad, it's not sad, it's just like, this is kind of what
apathy
we can now expect Wisconsin fans. And the comparison I gave off air was the Wisconsin Badgers have become Gilligan's Island. And a quick backstory in case of a younger audience or people who aren't familiar.
Intern Will is shaking his head, yes.
There's a group of castaways that get stuck on this island, and every episode they're up to some sort of antics, and it seems like they're going to get off, and lo and behold, they find their way, they build a boat, someone comes for help, and whatever happens at the end, they get stuck on the island. And that's the premise of the show. And it seems like that's our program, where we get a million breaks, we get the ball down 3 after some goofy fake kick, and I don't think anybody had that. There should have been hope there. And I think I was watching that, and I'm just like, well, I saw what happened last drive. We had the infamous delay of game coming out of the TV timeout. It's Gilligan's Island. You just kind of at this point where we had big halftime leads against, USC, Penn State, Oregon, all of which you just, go for it and get it. And it seems like in the past we could do that, and the end of the Chris era, the whole entire Fickell era now has kind of been this Gilligan's Island where they're going to find some new creative way to kind of screw it up. And that's just where we're at. One quick PSA out there, too. I know there's a lot of angry Badger fans out there. I'm an alumni as well. These losses hurt. But, again, Braden Locke has struggled this year. Be easy on the kid. He's 20 years old. I've seen some pretty disgusting things online on Twitter, and that stuff is out there. He has friends. He has family. Hopefully some people can just take a minute, pause, take a breath before you hit send or enter, and keep it classy.
All right. Thank you, Eric. Thanks for the call. I do think that is fair, what he had to say there. It does seem like there is sort of a never-ending amount of errors and stubbing your toes and whatever creative way you want to say that the Badgers can't get out of their own way. And there is a comparison there to be the Packers as well, who've suffered from the similar issues. The difference is the Packers are winning a lot more. But yeah, the delay game penalty is surreal. That's absolutely surreal. The fact that the Oregon gave you the chance to win it 2 times it didn't even move the ball. Like there wasn't even life. There wasn't even maybe we could get something going. Like the fourth down pass, you got to just give your guy a chance.
Yeah.
And Braden Locke is a backup. You do have to be honest about what you saw out there. It's not good enough. 2 missed players for touchdowns or extending of drives. Like that game was there for the Badgers to win. And they just couldn't get it done. Once again, it feels like it's happening over and over again.
Yeah, the Gilligan's Island analogy is pretty tasty. I'm an analogy guy, and I like that analogy. And it just seems like in every episode, you get to that point where like this is it. This is going to be the time they get off the island, and this is going to be the thing that changes and is different. And just never happens. And you're totally right. Those last 2 drives, just a microcosm of what the Badgers are going through on offense and just in general. I mean, no ability to move the ball. First of all, starting with a dumb, undisciplined penalty, lack of awareness, delay of game on a first down on a game-winning drive. You just absolutely cannot have it. And it just doesn't seem like play calls were made to develop a drive, right? You go 4 and out, and then you get it again. Obviously, it's a batted ball that was intercepted, which Braden Locke seems to have more batted balls than any quarterback that I've ever seen. I've played with short quarterbacks, Russell Wilson being one of them. I think it's like when it comes to I think he has a low release. I think that he telegraphs his passes. He's off balance. There's so many reasons why it happens. But, the last caller was right. He's a 20-year-old kid. Keep it on the field. Don't go personal. Don't go dark. But I just wonder, like, okay, he's a backup quarterback, but he was fairly highly recruited.
Yep.
He seems tailor-made for this air raid system. At what point is it on the coaches to develop, right?
Right.
Fickle and these coaches are supposed to be known to be developers, right? Take a guy, bring him at A, and get him to B. It doesn't seem like a lot of these guys are being developed, which is where I start to have concerns is this a developmental type program? And maybe you can't do that in today's college football as much, but it doesn't seem like he's gotten better. And that's partially him and partially coaching.
To go back to what Hunter said with the 4-year leash and, you get your full recruit in there. Does that exist anymore with the way the transfer portal and NIL is all happening? It feels like programs, obviously Indiana, the big glaring one that got Ben all jealous, rightfully so, of the quick turnaround. He said he's done being patient. It does seem like programs can just about face with a couple good decisions and a couple of players. I mentioned to you, it feels like there's no one on the Badgers that is the difference maker. It feels like there's no one who can ever take over a game. Vinny Anthony pops up every so often with a big play, but there's only so many big plays that can be had in any given game for any sort of circumstance. It feels like the talent level required to run the offense Phil Longo wants to run is not there. Obviously, the quarterback's glaring, but the wide receiver, Will Pauling, I think is good. Kakahuna, we think is good, but how much better would they be if Dylan Gabriel was on the other side?
Yeah, I mean, that's well said. I mean, there is a talent gap between Wisconsin and Oregon, and you saw that against Alabama. You saw that against Penn State as well. And that's a combination of recruiting. It's a combination of developing, which falls on the coaching staff. And you're right. I mean, the good Wisconsin Badger teams that went to the Rose Bowls, right, and were ranked anywhere in the top 25.
Right.
This team hasn't been ranked in the top 25 once this year, right? This could be the first time since 1996 that Wisconsin Badgers, it will be. They won't be ranked all year. First time since 1996. They were never ranked in the top 5 or top 25. There were at least guys where you could identify on the field and says he looks different, he elevates everybody else. When you're in a jam, you can rely on him to make a play. The Badgers don't have that. They have Hunter Wohler, who's a dude. He's going to play on Sundays. On offense, I don't know. Just when I think the O-line is doing okay, they start to get beat. For sure, there's a deficit at wide receiver, absolutely at quarterback. The running backs seem okay. They're not built to beat great teams.
Right.
And that's why they keep on losing to great teams. And when they play poorly, they can easily lose to bad teams. They can get blown out by Iowa. So they're just not built to be a contender. They are built to be average, and that's exactly who they are. That's with development, that's with recruiting, that's with game plan, that's top down in the program. They're an average football team. They're smack dab in the middle of the Big Ten. They're fighting for bowl eligibility. This is the same record we've been saying over the last several years. Last year, 5-5, going into Nebraska and Minnesota. We're going to do the same thing this year. So unless something changes, like you get a dude of a quarterback recruit, you start to stockpile talent at wide receiver, new OC that can actually game plan and make adjustments, this is what we're going to get. And that's frustrating as a Badger fan and alum.
Yeah, I feel worse than I did. Yeah, just 20 minutes ago after that conversation.
I'm talking myself into it. But.
This is how this program always seems to go with you and I. We don't feel so bad, and then we start really picking apart the things that are going on and sort of the structural issues, and it gets even worse. Coming up next, we will do the drive of the game. I got some more questions I want to answer on the quarterback you think gets a win, the lowest level that gets a win for the Badgers at the quarterback position. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, presented by Coors Light.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it, I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds, and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for free when you mention ESPN and purchase at $2,000 of in-stock jewelry? You'll receive a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield or in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Spend at least $2,000 on in-stock jewelry and you get 2-carat diamond studs free, as long as you mention ESPN. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. Robert Hack Diamonds, RobertHackDiamonds.com, RobertHackDiamonds.com. Visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff. We like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated and uncompromising. Like an award-winning men's grooming experience from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Open 7 days a week, even Sundays. Walk in anytime, and before you know it, our talented stylist will bring you back to a simpler time. A time when you were handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
They say seeing is believing, and when you see what's inside at American Place Casino, you better believe you're gonna love it. Because when it comes to amazing gaming, we're a real game changer. With the most exciting of table games like blackjack, craps, and roulette, the newest slots, a sportsbook, restaurants, bars, and more. So if you're ready for excitement, we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game.
Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-426-2537.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
ESPN Milwaukee's Gabe Neitzel. I've spent a while telling you about Mentality because it works. Not just for me, though. Take it from fellow Mentality user Jason. He's got a new lease on life thanks to Mentality.
The process was easy. It really, truly was. And the individuals that work at Mentality, very helpful, very respectful. It was an easy out. You go in a week after, they give you the results right away, and once you find that you're able to do it, just that thought, the energy already picked up a little bit. Most of it could have been mentally wise, but knowing that, hey, I get to start this, it was incredible.
Learn more today at LoTUSA.com.
Winter weather is on the way, and that means salt, snow, and grime on your car. ESPN Milwaukee's Brad Nortman here. Now's the time to protect your vehicle with a premium wash at Tsunami Express Car Wash. State-of-the-art technology, powerful free vacuums, and unlimited wash memberships. Keep your car looking spotless all season long. Tsunami Express has 5 convenient locations all across greater Milwaukee, making it easy to give your ride the care it deserves. Sign up for a membership at TsunamiExpress.com and get your first wash free. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat.
Kurt Phillips, Bart Houston, Graham Mertz. Those are some of the names I've seen so far as answers to what Wisconsin quarterback actually gets a win for the Badgers in their 16-13 loss to number 1 Oregon. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light. I'm Josh Dimaggio alongside Brad Nortman. Brad, giving you a lot of time to think, a lot of time to ponder. What is the lowest level of quarterback in Wisconsin's long storied history of, let's face it, mediocre quarterback history gets a win in this game?
Boy, all the guys you mentioned, Cone, Stave, Tolzien, Stocco, Hornibrook, I think they all win this game.
Yeah.
I really do. I think even Tanner McAvoy, throw him in there, he might make some plays.
Danny O'Brien?
Maybe even Danny O'Brien. Bart Houston could maybe make some plays. Listen, I just think that, I even jokingly say Tanner McAvoy, but even when I think about it, he can make some plays on his feet.
Yes.
And, Braden Locke doesn't want to run, which is totally fine. You don't have to be a running quarterback. But if you're a pocket passer, you better be a pocket passer.
Yeah.
You better be accurate. You better take what the defense gives you, and you better be able to complete some passes. And, I just tried to run through a lot of the stats of the guys we mentioned. I mean, their completion percentages, their touchdown to interception, it's all reasonable. It's all what you'd expect from a very, very, very average Wisconsin quarterback that just is average. And Braden Locke, particularly tonight, did not play that way. Probably the worst game in his career. And you're frustrated because even there were gimme passes, Josh. There were gimmies that were just, you throw it out in the flat. You just try to get a guy on an out route for 8 yards. He can't even hit that guy. So he looked uncomfortable. He looked inaccurate. I haven't heard a name that I didn't think could make enough plays to do this, especially in this offense that's so spread out, run with your legs, complete more than 12 passes, right? I think that's what he completed was 12 passes.
Yep.
Can complete more than that and just lean on the running game.
Yeah, when on the broadcast on TV, they were saying it looks like the run is open for McAvoy here. It seems like they're McAvoy. Jeez.
Yeah, there you go. I've been
for Locke.
you.
Yeah, for Locke here because Oregon, frankly, wasn't respecting the run at all because they correctly assumed this guy is not going to pull it on those options. The classic RPOs that we see happen all the time. They were just not respecting it at all, and it seemed like there was an opportunity for it. Then I got in the car and I heard our very own Mark Toscher saying the same exact thing. And the one run we did see was like a scamper in that second to last drive there for the bet. There just doesn't seem to be any hope there. And if you said if you're going to be a pocket passer, you need to be a pocket passer. He wasn't a pocket passer. Now, certainly the line didn't help him at times. And I see a lot of criticism of Longo doesn't know how to get a guy in rhythm. I don't know if Braden Locke had a rhythm today, even with the best offensive play caller in the nation. I don't know how much is there because there was easy throws that were missed. The ball was tipped more times than I could count. It just wasn't all there. And when a team like the Badgers, when everyone knows you need to pass the ball, I mean, that's just feast away.
Yeah.
Because you don't even have to play a super protective, a super conservative back end there. You just go, let's bring pressure. This guy will throw us the ball, and he did throw him the ball.
That's why those game-winning drives you just knew it was going to happen. You just knew it was going to end that way because it's must-throw situations. You're working against the clock. You can't be methodical walking down, down the field, incorporating the running game. I still think the running game is this team's greatest asset.
Yep.
And Tyree Walker gets his head going downfield, and this offensive line can run block the way they want to. They can be productive. Now, that didn't really happen early in the game, the first few drives, but they got a rhythm, and he ended up having a productive game. But they fell back into the old, almost like throw first, let's throw ourselves into rhythm, and it just never happened. And it's hard to think of a quarterback that wouldn't be able to win this game. That was a former Wisconsin starting quarterback.
It's a tough spot.
That's how bad it was.
All right, we got to do it. I do think there's a little something interesting here, so let's do the drive of the game presented by Chalmers Jewelers.
It's the drive of the game.
He's got the corner, and the Badgers touchdown answers quickly.
On ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
The Badgers punctuating and pulling away.
The drive of the game is brought to you by Chalmers Jewelers, helping guys score for more than 25 years.
All right, it was the first offensive drive of the second half. It was 16 plays, 62 yards. The score was 6-10. The score was 6-13 at the end of it. The reason I'm picking this drive is because these are the type of drives that kind of remind you of Wisconsin football. Eat a lot of clock, make a couple plays, run only 3 passes through the entirety of the drive, and move the field methodically downfield. I think this drive and the ending of it sort of determined the outcome of the game. There was a chance for the Badgers to score a touchdown. They did. It was a left-handed pass from Braden Locke, which would have lived in history as one of the great plays in Wisconsin football history. But that also underscores the fact that the Badgers can't ever, seemingly ever, get that punch or that blow that will set them apart, will make the other team panic. If you go up and you score and you put 7 on the board there, this game looks totally different.
Sure does.
This game, Oregon isn't in a spot. I mean, they would have been able to go for 2 points to tie the game at that point, but it always seems like no matter the outcome, the Badgers get the least amount out of whatever the drive is.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And, the touchdown drive, the moment I had most hope in this game, they had the 9-play, 75-yard, pretty quick 2-minute and 40-second touchdown drive right before halftime to go up 10-6. You followed that up with a Oregon punt and then the drive that you're talking about where you march the ball down the field, seemingly like you have just gained a way to win the line of scrimmage. We got rhythm on offense, running the football. I thought the Badgers are going to score a touchdown. That left-handed pass is unbelievable. Got a field goal out of it. Even with the field goal, I had a lot of confidence. I thought, oh my gosh, here we go. They are committing to the running game, which you need to do on this offense to be successful. And this defense is playing stout. At that point, there was 3 punts in a row. But the drive of the game, it almost needs to be like the anti-drive of the game.
Yes.
Like the final 4 possessions.
Yep.
After the drive that you're talking about.
Yep.
3 plays, 1-yard punt. 3 plays, minus 9 yards punt. And then here we go, setting up the 2 game-winning drives. 4 downs, 1 play, turnover on downs. 2 plays, interception. Like those last 4 drives were utterly backbreaking with the punts, the game-winning opportunities that just went, and then the Badgers squandered them. And there's no excuse for that level of poor performance in the most critical conditions, right? If you get 4 first downs and you get 4th and 4 on the Oregon's 35-yard line, like maybe I can understand that. You moved the ball, but you didn't even inch your way down the field. So it's almost like the anti-drive of the game is more of a personification and more indicative of who this team is than saying us, hey, we need to pick this drive because that was the best drive.
This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light. I'm Josh Dimaggio alongside Brad Nortman here. That goes out to the caller who just called asking who the heck we are and what we're talking about. This is the post-game show. We are recapping the Badgers' 16-13 loss to the Oregon Ducks. I almost can't blame those last two drives because, like you said, we knew the outcome. The fact that there wasn't an interception on that 4-play 1 yard is unbelievable. I thought for sure that was going to end that way just because that's who Braden Locke has become. He's going to make rough decisions. He's going to sail the ball. He's going to miss his guy and throw it right to the other team. When I was watching that drive, that was when I really started to believe the 16-play, 62 yards that ended in a field goal. That's when about crossing the 20, I was like, wow, this might be it. This might be the signature win we've been talking about for what feels like 2 seasons now. And it all came down to you don't want to blame too much. You can be critical of those. I believe they ran it twice right before that and didn't get any action on there. The worst case scenario too is on that drive going back the first one of the second half. When I realized it was 1st and goal from about the 9.5, it was like, oh boy,
this will be tough. This will be tough to punch it in.
This is not where I want to be. I would like 1st and goal from the 4, and then I'd have some faith in it. It just feels like anytime you know where the end zone is, things get way more difficult for the Badgers, and it does. Things do get compressed there, but if your thing is running the ball and you did it that entire drive, you barely had to even put the ball at risk. You just handed it off to both Walker and Dupree, and you moved the ball methodically down the field, and it all came crashing down. And then, of course, Oregon answers with a touchdown and ties the game right after that. And that's when you start to say, oh no, here we go.
Yeah, and at that point, it never felt like when Oregon went up, the way this offense was moving the ball,
yeah.
I just didn't have a whole lot of faith that they'd be able to pull it off. And, I don't know. When it comes to this offense, I just wonder at what point, this is a way different conversation, but I just wonder at what point you say, Braden Locke isn't the guy, and we're 5-5. You might as well go with the young guy. You might as well go with Matauer. It's a different conversation, but you would think with a performance like this, you would start to explore all options.
It does seem like it's getting close to that time, and there is a tweet of the game I want to talk about coming up next that does mention that. I believe it's a quote from Phil Longo, the guy who's probably counting his days as a Wisconsin resident and member of the Wisconsin football staff here. So we'll go over all the tweets of the game next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day postgame show brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, presented by Coors Light.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesch Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, serviced, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're looking for a truly unique luxury SUV, look no further than the new Range Rover Sport at Land Rover Waukesha.
The new Range Rover Sport SUV provides power, performance, sporting luxury, and all the latest technology and connectivity you want, plus the most luxurious ride.
And now is a great time to get an offer like this.
Get 3.9% special APR financing for up to 48 months on a new 2024 Range Rover Sport at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
Home practice is about to begin. Your daughter's new tap shoes? Loud. Your son's new tuba? Louder. But you got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with $50 overdraft grace zone. So if you lose track of expenses buying some noise-canceling and sanity-saving headphones, we've got your back. You got this with $50 overdraft grace zone from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Last year's RV trip, we met a couple with the same bumper sticker. What are the odds?
Your cousin isn't a good storyteller.
He was a podiatrist, or was it a pharmacist? You don't say. Oh, I can't remember.
But she owns an RV protected by Progressive, and you don't. So until you get your own RV, her stories are the most interesting stories you've ever heard.
Wow, interesting.
And when you do get your own RV, save money by bundling it with your home, auto, or other vehicles with Progressive.
Oh, anesthesiologist. He was an anesthesiologist.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Still getting around to that fix on your car? You got this. On eBay, you'll find millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. Doesn't matter if it's a major engine repair or your first time swapping your windshield wipers. eBay has that part you need, ready to click perfectly into place. For changes big and small. Loud or quiet. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. But you already know that. eBay. Things, people, love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Tito's Handmade Vodka is America's original craft vodka. In 1995, Tito Beveridge built his very own distillery and put his life savings into it. Since then, he's won the unanimous Judge's Choice Double Gold Medal at the World Spirits Competition, the Chairman's Trophy for World's Best Vodka Tonic, and many others. Tito's Handmade Vodka is still made on the same land where he started it, all in Austin, Texas. Distilled from corn and gluten-free. Visit us at titosvodka.com for recipes, videos, and more. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas. 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof. Crafted to be savored responsibly.
All you men, listen up. It's future Mrs. Brust here. I want to tell you about my wonderful experience at Robert Hack Diamonds. My fiancé Ben and the team at Robert Hack picked out my dream engagement ring for me, and then I personally worked with their team to pick out the perfect wedding band. Experience what I did at Robert Hack Diamonds. Stop in at their Brookfield or Greenfield location. While you're there, mention ESPN and spend at least $2,000 right now on any of their in-stock jewelry and get a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. It's a deal you can't pass up. If it wasn't for Robert Hack Diamonds and their team of jewelry experts, I wouldn't have trusted my fiancé Ben to make the right call. View what they have in stores online at roberthackdiamonds.com and get free diamond stud earrings. All you have to do is mention ESPN at their Brookfield or Greenfield locations when purchasing at least $2,000 of in-stock jewelry. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Start the day with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Can't get to the Super Bowl in early October, but they are not playing like a team that has those types of aspirations right now.
Right here on 94.5 ESPN and also streaming live on the Wisconsin On Demand app and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
All you ever hear me say, but since you've been gone, I can't breathe all the bad.
I don't think there's anything guys love more than naming dudes. I brought up the question, which Wisconsin quarterback throughout their history gets a win in this game, the 16-13 loss to the Oregon Ducks in Cap Randall. I see Mike Samuel wins by 2 scores. I see Scott Kavanaugh, Tony Lowry. These are names of guys I barely even have any way to place. They could be made up names for all I know.
Yeah, for real.
My Wisconsin Badgers history probably doesn't go back as far as it should. I'm sure some of these guys played before I was even born at some point here, but it was a tough one. It was a tough one that started with the quarterback. It was a tough one that sort of falls on the offensive side of the ball as a whole. You mentioned, is there a change coming at quarterback? And we'll discuss that right now during the tweets of the game.
Fingers turn to Twitter fingers.
Let's see what the trolls were saying. Here are today's tweets of the game on ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
I'm Josh Dimaggio alongside Brad Nortman here. The first one I want to bring up is the one you brought up. This one comes from Colton Bartholomew. This was tweeted, I believe, sometime in the first half, probably somewhere around the lines of when the Badgers had 0 first downs in the first half of that game.
Tough start.
For everybody asking, here's what OC Phil Longo said this week about Badgers backup QB Mabry Matoyer. Mabry is progressing. I think we're not at the point right now where we're going to do anything. You want to put them out there when they're absolutely ready to roll. Your reaction, Brad?
I understand that. I don't know if you're ever absolutely ready to roll.
Yeah.
I think that some of the best education takes place in the line of fire. I know that's how I felt whenever I was thrown out there, and I know that punting is a way different animal than playing quarterback, but it doesn't seem like Braden Locke is fully ready to roll.
That was where I was going to go.
So if that's the case, it feels like you're just throwing a guy out there to buy you time to wait till this guy is more ready. But and maybe you don't want to kill his confidence, which I understand. You don't want to kill Matauer's confidence as a young guy, a true freshman, which I understand. But listen, at some point, you got to be thrown out there and start to sink or swim. And if it's too early, it's too early. Then just say it, which I guess he did. But I can't imagine it's much worse than the lows you experience with Braden Locke.
Right. It feels like if this isn't the low point, what could be and what would sort of precipitate a change happening at that position. Obviously, the number one team in the nation going up against them in a program that has run a pretty damn good defense here. I don't know if it's the right spot to see him, but I think next week, if you're struggling, you just got to do something. You got to get bowl eligible. You got to get wins. You can't go out of the season as a 5-win team. You would think the games that the Badgers are playing to end their season are winnable, but a performance like that on offense, 13 points, that's not going to cut it.
Well, and at some point, you need to figure out who's capable, who's the future, who's on this team that you can build around, because the seat for Coach Fickell, it's not particularly hot. I mean, he's going to be the coach next year and probably the year after. But at some point, you got to look at your guys and see who can we build around, who can we grow and develop so that we know these are the guys in the locker room that can actually perform well in games like this or even games against Iowa. And it just feels like there's not a lot of hope right now in the organization.
Yes.
And sticking with Braden Locke perpetuates more hopelessness. And at least throwing Matauer in there, even if he struggles, but maybe has a couple moments, you can re-infuse hope into this team. Because right now, if you say this is our best option, that's an indictment on recruiting, development, and players, which again leads to more hopelessness.
Yeah, there's a level of me, if I can go below the line here for a moment, there's a level of me that thinks Matoyer, much like the other guys who have been highly regarded, is just more of the same.
Don't say that, Josh.
We haven't seen the kid play a football game yet. We haven't seen really anything. But there's a level of me that goes, is it going to be worth it? And should we be listening to Phil Longo? I have a feeling we're not going to be listening to Phil Longo for much longer. If I were to indicate any, I don't think it's going to come before the end of the season, because what real good does that do you for the final 2 games? But sticking with Locke feels like a resignation, and at least Matoyer gives you intrigue. But apathy is the way that many people have described the way they feel about the Wisconsin Badgers at this point. Frankly, I was amazed Ben Brust was able to get as agitated as he was, as somebody who loves the Wisconsin Badgers and has done this before, maybe got the previous head coach fired. Who knows? That's still up in the air.
It's the best line
ever. But there's a part of me that goes, at some point I'm going to take their word for it. And the kid isn't ready. Because I'm not sure Tyler Van Dyke was ready. I'm not sure Braden Locke was ready. I'm not sure Tanner Mordecai was ready. Like, which one of these guys could you say has even looked like they're part of that they're ready to take over and run this offense?
I guess that's what's so strange, right? Because it's not like Wisconsin has a colorful history of successful quarterbacks.
Yes.
We're used to average quarterback play, and we are hardly even getting average quarterback play when we've been promised a system, a coaching staff, and a recruiting haul that would say that we're going to have better quarterback play than we would in the past, with the already pretty low expectations that the Wisconsin Badgers have. So I think that's what's frustrating, is that it seems like our quarterback play is worse, and that's personified by all of the hilarious suggestions on quarterbacks that would actually go win this game. Our quarterback play is worse, and we've never been more quarterback-centric. It just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
and it's frustrating, and I just wonder, and you're totally right, Josh, and maybe that's the reality, because I remember when Coach Fickell joined the staff, took over, And then he started building his staff. And then they have all these transfers come in. Like, there's been so many at this point that have come in. But you say former 4-star quarterback from Oklahoma, Evers, right? And even Braden Locke, who was Mississippi State. And you just look at it and you're like, well, wait a minute. These guys were highly recruited, but they're not that great. And one points to how inaccurate recruiting can be,
right?
Which maybe says maybe Matauer isn't the savior of the program after all. But it also points to the fact that maybe these guys do have potential and we're not developing them. I still go back to the thing where when I played for this team, we just got 3-star recruits that had some grit and loved playing football, and they were just transformed, and they played the brand of Wisconsin football really well, and they were developed. I'm not seeing a lot of development from the guys that are being brought in, whether that be strength and conditioning, whether that be football awareness, whether it be executing a game plan. And that looks like the coaching staff to me.
I want to get to a couple more tweets here. This one comes from @Wisconsin_fam. Do you think there is any team in college football that fears going to Camp Randall to play a game?
I don't think they fear it.
No.
I don't. I think it's entertaining.
Yeah.
I think jump around's entertaining. And I think that...
And a lot of those jump arounds have been with the other team with the lead.
Yeah.
Not this time, but it's been a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I can't... Is the biggest win on Camp Randall 2010 Ohio State? Like, is that the most recent big win at Camp Randall? I guess
because the LSU game was at...
That was at Lambeau.
They have Lambeau.
I guess there were some... I think Wisconsin maybe played Michigan early in Harbaugh's time when they were ranked and beat them.
I remember that game distinctly. It was one of my first times producing this very program.
How about that?
And I think it was Graham Mertz, and they just ran the ball all over Michigan, which is weird to think about end stage Michigan and what they were and what they ended up being, because that was a program that took a long time to turn around, but did eventually turn around, and it seemingly was on the back of Jim Harbaugh himself.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And I don't think that, yes, I know that like the students take a while to get in there and all that kind of stuff, but from everything I could see in this game, the fans are very engaged, and it was pretty loud.
Yes.
And that place was raucous.
Feels like it hasn't been that way in a long time.
For sure. So I can't blame the fans for not creating an environment that teams are scared of.
It's the
team on the field. Like you're scared to go to play at Bama,
right?
Because they're dudes, right? There was 20 years ago. It's the same stadium, right? They weren't pre-Saban. You weren't scared to go to Bama,
right?
Even though it's a very cool venue. When the team is full of a bunch of dogs, you're scared to go there. And the team just hasn't been that way for quite a while now.
This one, and we'll end it off here. This is just a weird one I saw. This one's from Zach Heilprin. I don't know if you noticed it, but it was on the touchdown reception that came there before the end of the first half. Will Pauling on that quick throw starts to do the whatever dance that is, and the official, the back judge, comes over and stops him dancing, which felt like what I'm seeing every week, the most like elaborate celebrations, and Pauling was like wiggling his hips, and it wasn't the Key and Peele sketch, the pump that we also fondly remember. It was just like he almost looked closer to a penguin than anything else with that dance move, and they cut it off, and it was just, what are we doing here? You're playing the number one team in the country.
In this world of college football, where it seems anything goes when it comes to NIL, turnover chains, I mean, all the things, anything goes.
UNLV is pulling a slot machine after turnovers.
For this to be the place that you draw a line in the sand, like I will not have this on my field. Seems like a very bizarre.
There wasn't even a defender in front of him. Like, if you're dancing in someone's face, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Like we don't want that to escalate into anything. He was alone with his teammates facing the Wisconsin Badger fans. Like that's all that was.
Yeah, that's just a guy who's trying to flex a little bit, right? Take control.
Yeah, put his mark on the game.
That's right.
Make it all about him, as officials love to do.
Sure do.
Alrighty, that'll do it for the first hour. We are 11 minutes past. We are running a Wilding Tausch program here. Enjoy Pepsi, a proud partner of the Wisconsin Badgers. Wisconsin football players Hunter Wohler and Ches Malusi get game day ready with Pepsi, and so should you. Try Pepsi Zero Sugar, the perfect drink for your tailgate party and great to use as a tasty mixer. We got a lot to cover. We covered a lot already, but we'll do it next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, presented by Coors Light.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats.
And free groceries.
Okay, just calm down. We'll get to that later.
Stay tuned in right here to score free groceries.
Stop, please.
Okay, I'm shutting up. My lip is zipped.
Anyway, let's get to this week's specials at Century Foods. Now through Wednesday, save on 5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Sargento shredded cheese, 2 for $6. 45 ounce selected varieties Country Crock, $5.49. 12 ounce selected varieties Cremette egg noodles, 2 for $4. 10 to 54 count selected varieties Hefty plates, bowls, or bags, 2 for $4.
And now time for the big reveal. Free groceries.
That's too over the top. Try this. Win free groceries from Century Foods.
Win free groceries from Century Foods.
Forget it. I'll handle the rest. Enter to win $500 worth of free groceries on Century's Facebook or Instagram by January 8th.
Don't miss the shot when it comes to offering medical coverage to your employees. Saganiac Clinic can coach you on ways to balance costs and prioritize care for your employees with coverage provided by United Healthcare. Call Steve Fluellen, 262-783-6161. 262-783-6161. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service. Insurance coverage provided by or through United Healthcare Insurance Company or its affiliate. Administrative services provided by United Healthcare Services, Inc. or its affiliate. Health plan coverage provided by or through United Healthcare of Wisconsin, Inc. The Saganiac Planning Marquette records. Most assists in a game. Glenn Doc Rivers had it for 16 against DePaul in 82 until 95 when Tony Miller had 17. That lasted almost 30 years. Tyler Kolek set the new record of 18 last season. It's right that Kolek and Miller should be top two. They are top two in assists per game as well. Miller, 7.8. Kolek, 7. Saganiac Planning, a name synonymous with employee benefits and top-notch service.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
Everybody's buzzing about Quick Trip's possibly pilfered potatoes. We have them priced so low, some say they're illegal. Swipe potato fries, potatoes ill-gotten, stash browns. Come on, these are not hot potatoes. But it is a quick hot savings. You might say it's a steal. No, don't say that. 99 cents for a 5-pound bag. 5 pounds of potatoes under $1? What a heist. A perfect score for those large meal gatherings. Quick Trip. We got your taters covered.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!
Are you constantly repeating yourself but she's not following your directions?
Sit! Sit!
Frustrating, isn't it? At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we want to help you have a happy, confident, and obedient dog, and we also want to make the training process an enjoyable and worthwhile experience. Contact Sit Means Sit today to schedule a free consultation so we can create a customized training program so you are able to have the dog you want and deserve.
Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Sorry, we don't train husbands, wives, or kids.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together, we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman from KBN. Tune in to Kyle Bruston Nortman every day from 2 to 5. WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
David Gilreath from the 3. 25, 30, 35, explodes midfield. A chance to return the opening kickoff for 6. He'll take it to the house. It's blocked unbelievably. Wisconsin to pounce. Touchdown Badgers. Unbelievable. Simply shocking. Stockton. Touchdown. Jonathan Taylor. Can he take it the distance? He can. Touchdown Badgers. Camp Randall lets it roar.
It's time for the best after party in the state. This is the Wisconsin College Game Day postgame show.
ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day is brewed by Coors Light. When you need to refresh on game day, choose a beer that's as cold as the Rockies. Cold filtered, cold lagered, and cold packaged for peak refreshment. When the mountains are blue, you know what to do, and that's crush a Coors Light. 2024 Coors Brewing Company Golden, Colorado. I'm Josh Dimaggio here alongside Brad Nortman. We are recapping the Badgers' 13-16 loss to the number one team in the country, the Oregon Ducks. We spent a lot of time talking about Braden Locke, about Phil Longo, about Luke Fickell, about everything basically at this point that is involved with this game. We've still got a lot more to cover. We've got a lot to flush out with this Badgers team. But Brad, give me your recap and your lasting impressions of the 3-point loss to Oregon for the Badgers.
When it comes to this team, you wanted to see them respond with some life, right? Because the loss that the Badgers experienced to Iowa, 42-10, 2 weeks ago, was nothing short of embarrassing.
Low point.
I feel much worse after that game than I do this game, that's for sure. That was, for this season, at least a low point. There were some low points last year. So I was curious, how is this team going to respond? Are they going to come out with any life? Are they going to look like the team that we've been promised at all? And are they going to be able to get a signature win or even stay close? My optimism going into the game was low, and the offense sure did its part to try to keep that optimism low for me. The defense, I'll start with the good. The defense did come out and play hard. They were physical. They were feisty. Everything was contested. Nothing came easy to Oregon. You know, we had an Oregon caller early. I talked about how that was Dylan Gabriel's worst game he's seen in several years. Listen, that can be partially self-induced, but a defense that brings it will absolutely have a part in that as well. And I think that the Wisconsin defense, for sure, players did their part to play hard, play physical, and disrupt, holding Oregon to 16 points. I still can't believe this Wisconsin defense held Oregon to 16 points. But, and it's a big but, when it comes to the offensive side of the football, man, I haven't been this discouraged with the Wisconsin Badgers offense in a long time. I really haven't. And Oregon's defense is good, maybe really good, certainly not great. There's no reason that at home you shouldn't score more than 16 points. You should be able to have more productive, successful drives than you do. And it's not even the fact that they didn't even score that many points. They had so few sustained drives. Literally, outside of they had early field goal, yes, but the touchdown to end the half and then the field goal at the end of halftime, after halftime, there was constant drives of 3 and out. I mean, the first 3 drives of the game, 3 and out. Another drive in the first half, 5 plays, 3 and out. The last 4 possessions of the game, 3 plays, 4 plays, turnover and downs, 2 plays, interception. Nothing sustained, nothing ongoing, nothing you can rely on. So my lasting impression is this is who the Wisconsin Badgers are. They're a team that over the course of 60 minutes, your flaws get revealed. And their flaws are quarterback, offensive continuity, offensive identity, and being able to make stops when it matters on defense. So that's who we thought they were. That's certainly who the Badgers are.
7 of the Badgers' 10 drives didn't result in a single first down.
That's insane.
70% of the time they hit the field on offense, they didn't produce a first down. We've got 3 punts, minus 4 yards. 3 plays, minus 4 yards. We've got 3 plays, minus 4 yards again. We've got 3 plays, 0 yards. Then we get the field goal drive, 5 plays, a punt. Oh, I think I even miscounted that because that 5 plays, that there was It's not you can't do a first down. You can't get a first down there. So that one must have been by penalty that they did advance the ball and get a first down. Then there was the touchdown drive, the field goal drive, punt, downs, interception. It was as ineffective as you could possibly be on that side of the ball. Braden Locke didn't surpass 100 yards in passing offense. 100 yards is something that happens every Friday night across high school football to teams that don't even throw the ball a lot.
And Braden Locke had one completion for 43 yards.
Yes.
So one completion was half of that. So the remaining 11 amounted for like 40-something yards, whatever that
43 was the long to Vinny Anthony. Then Bryson Green had one catch for 13. Tucker Ashcraft, one catch for 13. Will Pauling had 2 for 9 yards with a long of 7. CJ Williams had 1 for 5. Kekahuna had 1 for 3. Darian Dupree had 1 for 1, and Tyree Walker 1 for -1.
It's just so pedestrian. And the other thing we haven't brought up yet is, Joshy, this came on the backside of a bye. Yeah. Right? So they had a minute to game plan. They had 2 weeks to game plan for this Oregon Ducks team. So that is a conversation. Very rarely do you have the ability to hit the pause button and for you to get back on the same page with your coach. There's so much film review from the game before, so much game planning for the week ahead. There's really ever an honest conversation where it's like, Coach, I do this well. I don't do this well. Let's work on cultivating a game plan that does this. You have 2 weeks to prepare for the Oregon Ducks. You have 2 weeks for Braden Locke and Phil Longo to get in a room together and say, this is what you're doing well. This is what you're not doing well. We're going to tilt the offense to do the things that you do well. And let's not forget that the first 15 to 20 plays, they're all scripted, and that amounted in a 3 and out, a 3 and out, a 3 and out. Just like that. So there's really no excuse for lack of preparation. There's no excuse for a slow offensive start. And there's no excuse for adjusting in the game when you realize that Braden Locke just didn't have his fastball and didn't play well tonight. Run the ball more, make easy completions, get the ball out of his hands fast and in the hands of your playmakers. None of that happened, and that negativity, that ineffectiveness overshadowed an otherwise fairly strong performance by this defense.
Can we do a little daydreaming here?
Oh, please. A little night dreaming, maybe?
A little night dreaming. What? Play out the scenario where Braden Locke goes down, scores 7, the Badgers beat number 1 Oregon. Okay. Where are we standing at? What are our feelings at? Play everything exactly the same. The game plays out exactly the same. That last drive just results in a touchdown.
We talking about the drive that ended with basically the first opportunity for the game-winning drive. They use all 2.5 minutes, and they go down the field and score.
Correct. What do we feel now? Do we feel that much better, or do we feel like we snuck one out? Because the ineffectiveness, when you look at it, maybe Braden Locke gets to 125 yards, 135 yards passing on the game, but it would still feel like this program's really far away, wouldn't it?
It would. Winning cures a lot of ills.
Yes.
It cures a lot of ills. And I think that the euphoria and the just marquee moment of beating a number 1 team overall, I think it would overshadow that. I think you would say the narrative would change to, it was ugly, but you did it when it mattered.
Yeah.
And you had a little bit of clutch gene in you. And I would also think the narrative would be, look, it's just hard to beat the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
It's not going to be pretty. And, well, it can be pretty, but it's not likely going to be pretty.
Could if you'd like.
And you did what you did what you needed to do in critical moments. But the hard part is the exact opposite happened. The defense couldn't get a stop and when it really mattered. Even my beloved Atticus Bertrams, when he was back to the end zone and it was a tie score, he had a rough punt. They gave literally 1 first down, and they were already in field goal range, the Oregon Ducks.
I felt like he had some boomers, too, today.
He did. He had some good punts up front, but when it mattered, getting off the field on 4th down, they couldn't do that. Punting, then there was a bad punt to be able to set up the game-winning field goal, and then the opportunity to go down the field, you couldn't do that. So football is a game where not every minute of the game is created equal. right? The first quarter has less intensity, less urgency, less importance than the fourth quarter. The final 5 minutes, it has a maximized value, an exponentially greater importance than earlier in the game. And because of that, great teams do well. One of the things that the Kansas City Chiefs do well, they stink for 3.5 quarters. And the last half quarter, they dial in and find a way to win on offense, defense, or special teams. And they're 9-0, whatever they are. When you do the inverse of that, and then you blow games, or they're for the taking, but you don't take them when it matters, you're going to end up being average. 5-5, average Wisconsin Badgers.
On Jen Game and Chewy, we talked about what is the Green Bay Packers identity, which was kind of a hard thing to nail down for us on the program. I came away with young, explosive, and mistake prone. At this point, it feels like Luke Fickell and his team, their identity, as hard as it is to deal with, is just, one, they're not good enough. Breadth of talent, not there. But it also feels like a team that never can close the door, can never, when the door gets kicked open, even if it's someone else helping them out, they refuse to step over the threshold. They trip on the threshold. They don't even get to the porch. They're on the walkway up. They're waddling their way up there, and then the step up that everyone has in front of their house, they trip and fall.
That is perfectly painted, Joshy. It seems like this team either wins in not fairly dominant fashion, like a non-conference game. It's ugly, but they win by double digits, or they trounce a lower level Big Ten team, or they just get completely outplayed, right?
Yes.
And if it's close, they blow it at the end. They get completely outplayed and blown out. Or if it's close, they don't win. I can't think of a close game where they walked away victorious.
It feels like the mistake always comes from the Badgers side.
Yes.
The game-defining moment is always happening to the Badgers. It's never the Badgers making the moment.
Yeah, that's perfectly said. Couldn't say it any better than that.
All right, we're going to do a little flush it or flush it next. We've already had this conversation, but I want to dive deeper into it. So we'll do that coming up next. But first, don't let your sidewalk or driveway get flagged for unnecessary roughness. Let concrete lifting technologies level your uneven or cracked pavement and save the work of replacing it. Raise your game and your concrete. Visit itaintmudjack.com to get a free quote today. That's itaintmudjack.com. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, presented by Coors Light.
Hello, I'm Dan Fields. If you're looking for a truly unique luxury SUV, look no further than the new Range Rover Sport at Land Rover Waukesha.
The new Range Rover Sport SUV provides power, performance, sporting luxury, and all the latest technology and connectivity you want, plus the most luxurious ride.
And now is a great time to get an offer like this.
Get 3.9% special APR financing for up to 48 months on a new 2024 Range Rover Sport at Land Rover Waukesha. Go to LandRoverWaukesha.com.
Green and gold fans, it's game day. And you know what that means. Tailgating with friends and raising a glass to our favorite team. This season, make Bacardi the star of your pregame party. Whether you're mixing up a classic Bacardi and cola, refreshing Bacardi lime and soda, or a smooth spiced and cola, Bacardi is the perfect pick for game day fun. Grab a bottle and get ready to cheer on Green Bay with the best in hand. Available now at your local retailer. Live passionately, drink responsibly. Bacardi USA, Miami, Florida. Rum 40% alcohol by volume.
Craft your Brewers mini plan for the 2025 season, featuring all new 6-packs and 12-packs. Get in on the action with great ticket rates, marquee matchups, and priority seating. Plus, you'll get a limited edition Brewers Crowler with each 12-pack or pair of 6-packs. Looking to customize your games to fit your schedule? Build your own ticket plan options are also available. Pick the plan for you at brewers.com/ticketfinder.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Opening day's not quite here, but Hunt Week is on at Fleet Farm, your hunting headquarters. Get a Maverick Weather Repellent 5-panel hunting blind on sale for $689.99. And get a hot deal on our Orange Friday warming seat cushion, now just $6.99. Plus, take half off an Orange Friday Performance Fleece hoodie, now only $14.99. Get all your gear at the best prices, guaranteed, from Fleet Farm. And good luck this season.
It's time for the Ortho ASAP Minute from Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin.
Dr. Chris Killian is joining me. Doctor, for people who do need some type of shoulder procedure, what's the benefit to having it done at OAW?
There's a vast array of shoulder issues that different patients can have, depending on what your age is, what your activity level is. So there are things such as unstable shoulders where the shoulder is dislocating, and there's a variety of treatments for that. Very, very common issue as people age are rotator cuff issues or arthritis. So we have pretty set and standard treatments that there is a difference when you come to us, especially, we do all arthroscopic rotator cuff repair surgeries, really advanced shoulder replacement surgeries where we use a navigation system when we perform the shoulder replacement that allows us to more accurately place the components that should hopefully then make them last longer. So we do have some very advanced options that are very unique to our group and allow us to kind of set ourselves apart compared to other people.
The Ortho ASAP Minute is sponsored by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. There is a difference.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff. We like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated and uncompromising, like an award-winning men's grooming experience from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Open 7 days a week, even Sundays. Walk in anytime, and before you know it, our talented stylist will bring you back to a simpler time, a time when you were handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
We don't just cover the green and gold. We cover the green and gold. Your home for Green Bay football talk. 94.5 ESPN and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light. I'm Josh Dimaggio alongside Brad Nortman here. Young intern Will got in our ear, told us we got some audio. Comes from the head football coach of the Wisconsin Badgers, Luke Fickell. Here are his comments after tonight's game.
It's difficult. And those guys in that locker room, obviously they fought their butts off. They did everything we asked them to do. They played the way we wanted them to play and we expected them to play. We just right now haven't found a way to be able to finish. The games that have come down to the fourth quarter, the games that have come down to, the most critical times, the deep waters, we still have yet to get over the hump and find a way to pull it out and to continue to, do what we need to do. And so it's tough. It's an emotional shot that we've got to be able to get over, and we got to be able to get over fast because we got 2 weeks of the season left, and there's 2 really big weeks of the season, and we knew this was going to be like an NFL schedule. It was going to be shot after shot after shot, and what that means is you got to have the maturity, you got to have the discipline, you got to have the depth as well to be able to take some of these shots and keep moving forward.
Brad, that feels like kind of exactly what we were talking about to end the previous segment there. He says, we haven't been able to finish games. We haven't been able to do what it takes. I didn't love the comments about it was an NFL schedule. Your schedule's your schedule.
Yeah.
We expect you to win. Right? Also, yes. There's no Purdue.
Yeah,
there's no Northwestern.
And let's not forget those early non-conference games.
Right.
I don't think South Dakota is either. I couldn't have done without that. It felt like it was a lot of saying words without saying anything of meaning. And boy, he's right. They haven't found a way to win games, exactly what we were diagnosing earlier. And I do feel like there were certain areas of the ball that did play well and did play hard. So I can't fault them for that. But it just seems like Coach Fickell seems like a really nice guy, really good guy, kind of guy that you'd love. Like he's a really fatherly type figure, right? Really stable and calm, which you'll love, and that has a place. But I've never really seen him fiery, intense. I never really walked away from a press clip or a press conference or a speech where I'm like, okay, this dude gets it. He's got that grit. He's got that Alvarez, that Bielema. Chris had it, I guess, in his own ways, but a Bo Ryan, right? These guys captivated. And I don't know what he's like to the guys in the locker room, but Colin Russo, down in West Palm Beach and used to host a show last year. He was critical of Fickell for basically being a walking cliche. And when you hear press conferences like that, it's hard to debate that.
Yeah, the whole we haven't figured out a way, and it was out there for us. That feels like, well, I mean, that's kind of your job.
Yeah.
You're the one who needs to push the team over the top and figure out a way to get a win when the team is performing at a way that the win's there. It's like, that's kind of you. You need your players to perform, but how many times can you credit games to strictly coaches? They call up the right play. They bring in a player that makes a difference. It seems like either that isn't there for Luke Fickell or needs to figure it out damn quick.
Well, everything about the fourth quarter, end of game, everything he's describing, translated is situational, right? This is situational football.
Right.
And the people that create the tenor and the game plan for situational football is the coaches.
Right.
So he takes blame. Longo takes blame. Of course, the players take blame too. But situational end of game football, having a certain objective that you need at the end of the game, it's a field goal to tie, it's a touchdown to win. That is a situation. So coaches should be ready to execute that situation. So Coach Fickell, to me, he just, and this is not meant to be mean, this is just kind of my observation, he feels like Woody in Toy Story, where like you pull the crank in the back and he's just got these rotating phraseologies that are just coachisms. I've only heard him talk at the podium and he just sounds like he's saying cliche coach stuff, which is totally fine. You don't have to give the media everything. Right. I'm good with being inauthentic to the media, but authentic to your players. I just hope his message is different to the players. I hope he comes off as much more authentic, much more real, and much more passionate to the players.
All right, it's time now to do a little flush it or flesh it.
Flush it?
We fail multiple times with bad ideas. I didn't know were bad till I realized they didn't work.
Or flesh it.
Yeah, that's one idea. Or we can work as a team.
Brought to you by Gordon Flesh Company. Business, technology, managed. Taking the worry out of your office equipment and IT needs.
All right, this is an easy one. Flush it or flesh it. The Wisconsin Badgers should start young, maybe Matoyer, next week against Nebraska.
Let's flesh that one out. I mean, boy, I can't see a good reason why you don't. The only thing I can think of is Matoyer still gives you an objectively worse opportunity to win, and you're still trying to become bowl eligible, and these are two rivalry games to end the year. But if it's a coin flip, if maybe in any given game Matoyer has a higher ceiling but lower floor, I think you want to infuse some hope. I think you want to look a little bit toward the future, because I think Wisconsin will win one of their next two games to become bowl eligible. They probably split. I don't know which one it is. I don't know if they beat Nebraska or
could be any of them.
They're very much similar.
It could
teams.
be a 35-point victory. For
it
all
could
I
be.
know.
It totally could be. They probably end 6-6. They go to a bowl game, but it's so much future centric. This is already, and it's another lost season. Another lost season. So do what it takes to open the door. And I don't care about burning a red shirt. Guys can transfer at any time. And if he's really good, he's going to leave anyway.
Right.
So get the guy in the game.
I have to agree with it. At this point, see what you got. Infuse some sort of hope and optimism, and not just for the team, for the fans. Apathy is the last thing you want as a football program, as a sports team altogether. when the people don't care or start to kind of go, yeah, well, we expected it. When Brad Nortman's looking at me with the chance to win the game against the number one team in the nation and going, yeah, I don't got much hope for this. That's when you've reached a point where something needs to change. And those changes aren't necessarily going to come from the coaching staff. It needs to be players on the field. This far, you just don't have... Right now, there's no reason for hope in 2025.
There's really not.
And that's a bad place to be. And everyone's sort of just waiting for the shoes to drop. Who gets fired? Who remains? Who can we point fingers at to blame for the ineptitude that's happening week in and week out on Saturdays?
And there's roster building questions, real roster building questions, because if Matoyer goes out there, plays really well, they say, this is our guy. We're going to build around him. This is what it's going to look like. This is what he's good at. If he struggles and you don't feel like he can make those strides, then you better go to the transfer portal again. It starts to change the dynamic of what you look like in 2025. And maybe you look at it and say, maybe our quarterback isn't on the roster right now. So roster building, recruiting, transfer portal, it all plays a role in seeing what Matoyer has out there.
For more than 65 years, Gordon Flesh Company has been providing cutting-edge technology for companies of all sizes as the nation's largest Canon and Lexmark dealer. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more. We're supposed to give out game balls next. I don't know if anyone really actually deserves one, but we'll talk about it next. I'm Josh Dimaggio. That's Brad Nortman, and this is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, presented by Coors Light.
Mark Tosher here, encouraging you to join in on the fun with Prize Picks, the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, Prize Picks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 100 times your cash. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy so that your lineups stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Prize Picks puts their members first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. And when your picks hit, you get your money in as quick as 15 minutes. And you can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Download the app today. Use code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code WI to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
There's a good chance you're on a budget. We all are. But she wants a diamond. You know it, I know it. And Robert Hack Diamonds knows it too, because they offer a huge collection of lab-grown diamonds and they sell them at crazy prices. How about 2-carat total weight diamond studs for free when you mention ESPN and purchase at $2,000 of in-stock jewelry? You'll receive a free pair of 2-carat total weight diamond studs. Robert Hack Diamonds can get any size, shape, or clarity in natural or lab-grown diamonds. Don't buy until you call Robert Hack Diamonds in Greenfield or in Brookfield. Why overspend when you can save at Robert Hack Diamonds for the same diamond you're looking for? Spend at least $2,000 on in-stock jewelry and you get 2-carat diamond studs free, as long as you mention ESPN. Your visit will be worth it, and she'll think so too. Robert Hack also offers repair services and cash for your old gold. Robert Hack Diamonds, RobertHackDiamonds.com, RobertHackDiamonds.com. Visit them in Brookfield or in Greenfield.
Change your grocery game plan to locally owned Century Foods, home of the best meat, freshest produce, and tastiest treats.
And free groceries.
Okay, just calm down. We'll get to that later.
Stay tuned in right here to score free groceries.
Stop, please.
Okay, I'm shutting up. My lip is zipped.
Anyway, let's get to this week's specials at Century Foods. Now through Wednesday, save on 5 to 8 ounce selected varieties Sargento shredded cheese, 2 for $6. 45 ounce selected varieties Country Crock, $5.49. 12 ounce selected varieties Cremette egg noodles, 2 for $4. 10 to 54 count selected varieties Hefty plates, bowls, or bags, 2 for $4.
And now time for the big reveal: free groceries.
That's too over the top. Try this. Win free groceries from Century Foods.
Win free groceries from Century Foods.
Forget it. I'll handle the rest. Enter to win $500 worth of free groceries on Century's Facebook or Instagram by January 8th.
Hi, Drew and Jonathan Scott here, reminding you that a lot of life's firsts are better with help from American Family Insurance. Like your first home expansion or your first big lightning strike. There's a first for everything. Get the right home policy at the right price with the right help from American Family's agents. Life's better when you're under American Family's roof. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
Swing into action to experience Sweetgrass and Sage Run in 2025. The Island Resort and Casino stay and play packages are a hole-in-one. By blending award-winning golf with exceptional amenities, we've become the premier resort destination in the Midwest. But don't wait. These popular packages fill up fast. To book your 2025 golf getaway and secure your spot on the green, visit islandresortgolf.com today.
Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN.
He thinks he left the video stream for 5 minutes. When I say I am sweating, I am out of shape drastically.
This is ESPN Milwaukee on 94.5 ESPN and on video at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
At Starion Bank, experience a banking relationship where your goals are their priority. As a community bank with a commitment to Dane County, Starion Bank redefines local banking in the Madison area. Visit one of their convenient branches in Middleton, Sun Prairie, or Monona and learn more online at starionbank.com. I'm Josh Dimaggio alongside former punter Brad Nortman. We're supposed to give out game balls here, and I kind of thought maybe we don't give out any, but I do think there are enough people here worthy of at least some sort of recognition. Will, forgive me if I'm wrong. Do we have an open for the game balls, or do we just talk about? All right, fire that open for me, buddy.
The highest honor this post-game show has to offer.
And just stick this in your trophy case.
Now, we award game balls on ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
It's the game ball.
The first person I want to mention here, and I think there's maybe a couple obvious that would be worth mentioning. I think Hunter Wooler, obviously, game in and game out. He's a gamer. He's out there. He's productive. He is sort of the backbone of the defense. But the guy I want to mention is Vinny Anthony. And when you look at his stats for the season, 24 receptions, 443 yards, and 2 touchdowns, it's not overwhelming. But it feels like Vinny, at multiple points of this season, has sort of been the exact shot to the arm that the team needs. And his ability to win downfield on contested catches is frankly like an NFL level type of skill. Like, the pass he caught today was not just he beat his guy. It was contested. He had to come back for it. There was 2 guys in front of him. And I feel like he's a person that is not recognized enough because his contributions are limited. But when they are contributions, they seem to be the biggest ones of every single game.
Yeah, there was a game, I don't know, maybe a month ago, where we hadn't really seen much of Vinny Anthony.
Yep.
And he had a dominating outbreak kind of game. And we were like, wait a minute, where has he been all year? And ever since then, he hasn't looked back and has been the marquee receiver on this team. Good choice, Joshy.
I think it was the USC game. He had 3 for 70 and a touchdown.
That's correct. For me, I have to go with someone on defense.
Yep.
Because defense is the only real bright spot of this game and this team. Hunter Wooler, you said, he is basically, before any game, go ahead and just write his name on a game ball, because he is always the guy that is laying hard hits. He's making the right plays at the right time. A guy that I honestly had never known who this guy was, but he showed up all over the field today. So some critical tackles in slowing down, particularly the Oregon run defense. Christian Allegro. Am I saying that name right?
I believe you are.
I mean, it's almost concerning that the staff hadn't identified him earlier as a capable talent, because he was the clear second best player on the field today behind Hunter Wohler, just making strong tackles, a critical tackle for loss. Christian Allegro is a guy that I'm looking at and thinking, okay, maybe this is a guy that you can build around. He's a sophomore, stepped up in a big game, played physical, has sort of an instinctual nature to playing and being in the right place at the right time. So, because I wonder, boy, when Hunter Wohler's gone next year, who the heck is going to step up and lead this defense? Don't know if it'll be Christian Allegro, but from today's performance, he gets my game ball.
The other defensive name I think worth mentioning was John Pius. Felt like he was sort of all over the field. His contributions from the stat sheet limited. He did get the sack. So I thought he was providing pressure and kind of showed an extra gear that I feel like we haven't seen a whole lot this year. So when it comes to pass rush, obviously that's important. And the last person is shout out Tyree Walker.
Yeah.
That guy's out there grinding.
He runs so hard.
So hard.
He's a torpedo in the backfield.
Yes. And that's the type of player you wish there was more happening for. Obviously, Hunter Wohler, longtime Badger, committed, but Tyree is sometimes the only hope.
He's the only consistent, productive offensive player. And it seems like when they keep feeding him the ball, good things happen.
Yes.
They get away from it. And whether that be they can't establish the run or the O-line isn't winning the line of scrimmage, whatever it is, get the ball to Tyree Walker, please.
All right, we've only got a couple minutes left here in the program. We got another segment. We'll wrap up the show and give you our final thoughts next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, brewed by Coors Light.
Post-game reaction continues next. This is ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day, presented by Coors Light.
Are you looking for reliable transportation this holiday season? I've got you covered. It's Jen Latta from ESPN Milwaukee, and with holiday parties, family gatherings, and year-end events on the horizon, I trust AccuTrans Group to handle all of my private transportation needs. Whether it's a corporate function or festive celebration, AccuTrans gets me there safely and on time. As a veteran-owned business, they pride themselves on top-notch service that you can count on. Booking is easy, stress-free, and reliable. Just visit AccuTransGroup.com to reserve your holiday ride today. That's AccuTransGroup.com.
Panic strikes as you realize on Wednesday that Thursday is your anniversary. The reservations being secured.
We'll see you at 8.
The gift being purchased. Yeah, you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with early pay up to 2 days early on direct deposits. So even though they call you Last Minute Lisa, we'll make your last minute scrambling a bit easier. You've got this with early pay from Associated Bank. See AssociatedBank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
It takes a team to meet just about any goal, and that's as true on the football field as it is in the office. So it's good to know that you have the Gordon Flesch Company on your side. For more than 60 years, GFC has provided cutting-edge office technology for companies of all sizes, and as the nation's largest Canon dealer, GFC delivers the latest office technology, serviced, and is supported by the most experienced professionals in the industry. That's business technology managed. Visit gflesh.com to learn more.
Guys, let's be honest. We like simple stuff. We like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated and uncompromising. Like an award-winning men's grooming experience from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Open 7 days a week, even Sundays. Walk in anytime, and before you know it, our talented stylist will bring you back to a simpler time. A time when you were handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men in Oak Creek on Howell Avenue, just south of Putes Road. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
Keep the elements out of your home with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
We had howling wind coming through. The rooms were freezing. We were very apprehensive about changing them because we were worried about losing the charm of the home. We went with Pella because we knew that they had an amazing reputation. We knew that they were going to have the windows that would look like they'd been there forever, but with all the functionality that a window should have.
Order today and get no interest and no payments for 12 months. At Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, we offer a wide range of beautiful wood designs for installation within your unique home. Because wood is a natural material, it can be painted, stained, or left natural to complement your unique home decor. Experience nearly endless possibilities from Pella, featuring maximum design flexibility with dramatic sizes, custom colors, finishes, profiles, product types, and more. Order today and get no interest and no payments for 12 months. Visit PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. Ends 11/30/2024.
This is Jeff Johnson.
And I'm Jason Johnson.
And together we're part of Johnson & Sons Paving.
Get your parking lot ready now for spring and avoid paying for extra repairs later on.
We'll come out to your property and walk it with you.
Potholes, damaged asphalt, damaged concrete, standing water, you name it. We'll talk to you about your options and fix it.
Plan a budget, set up an overall schedule with Johnson & Sons Paving.
It's all about doing it right the first time. Call us today to schedule a walkthrough and free estimate.
JohnsonandSonsPaving.com.
Gabe Neitzel here. I know you've already heard me talking about how Mentality has helped me over the years, but there are others like me. Jason has been using Mentality for a while now and is loving the results.
I have gotten a handful of friends, probably a couple dozen, especially those that are closer to my age, maybe even a little bit older, because I just tell them, you got to check this out. Do not wait any longer. Just go and admit it. Yep, you're at an age where things are slowing down. I promise you, you're not going to regret it, and that's truly what I get. I'll get a phone call after, like, man, I feel like a kid at Chuck E. Cheese right now.
Learn more today at MoTUSA.com.
Marquette Hall of Famer Tony Smith here. You're listening to the home of Marquette basketball. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day is brewed by Coors Light. I'm Josh Dimaggio alongside Brad Nortman here. Brad, we don't have much time left. We're probably going to go a little bit over the time. Don't snitch on us if you're out there listening. We do appreciate all you listening, sticking with us here at 11:57 p.m. on a Saturday night.
The true Badger fans.
The true Badgers fans. We see you on the YouTube chat. We see you listening out on the program. We see you everywhere. Thanks for listening, and thanks for trying to work your way through another loss for the Badgers program. But I'm going to give you the final thought here, Brad, and just sort of your takeaway and what are your thoughts for next week?
Well, it's not every week that the Wisconsin Badgers play marquee opponents, right? That's clear. Usually, in the past, there was maybe 2 to 3 times per year. Now it's 3 to 4. And it provides fascinating measure sticks, right? Allows you to size yourself up on a national landscape. Because when you play Rutgers, when you play Nebraska next week, it's sort of muddled Big Ten any given week, who's the middle of the Big Ten and who's going to win. So that's why I'm curious to see how this team performed today. They performed better than I expected them to, which is great, but still not enough, even when things go in their favor, right? They won the turnover battle. They held Oregon in the red zone. Just things like that, they still can't pull out a victory. So I look at this operation after a year and a half. They were 5-5 at this time last year, going in to play Nebraska and Minnesota. It's exactly what they're going to be going into this year to get bowl eligibility, which won't be easy. Those are 2 quality opponents. So they're going to have to fight these next 2 weeks to become bowl eligible. And I still just wonder, I don't know how many major steps have been made to solidify an identity, to insert hope and excitement into the fan base. There just hasn't been much improvement, right? And that concerns me after almost 2 full seasons. And you look at next year's schedule, and boy, oh boy, things don't get easier. So I stand here with now another year gone of confirmed no signature wins and wondering if they're going to get one next year, wondering if they're going to even be ranked next year. I don't know. I guess I'm just left a little bit in the middle ground of like, I want to be excited. I want to believe in this program, but week after week, whether it be they get blown out or they fall short in the critical moments that matter, they keep on reminding me that I should not put my faith in them just yet. So that's where I stand.
Couldn't have said it better myself, Brad. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you to young intern Will Summers for producing the program today for us. This has been ESPN Wisconsin College Game Day.
It started with a prediction.
Gonna go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6. It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
When the power goes out, your life is disrupted. Heat, air conditioning, refrigeration, phones, all gone. Be prepared for the next outage with a Generac home standby generator. After sensing a power outage, a Generac generator automatically restores your home's power, whether you're home or away. Power your life with a generator from Adams, Wisconsin's #1 rated Generac dealer. Adams provides sales, installation, maintenance, and 24/7 service from all locations. Learn why Adams is your best choice in providing power peace of mind. Visit adamspower.com today.
With a local Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. They've been serving businesses and individuals in the area for nearly 15 years, including a long-standing commitment to the healthcare industry. From expansion to treasury management, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions across the healthcare spectrum to meet the complex moments you're navigating. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
All you men, listen up. It's future Mrs. Brust here. I want to tell you about my wonderful experience at Robert Hack Diamonds. My fiancé Ben and the team at Robert Hack picked out my dream engagement ring